Ralph Curbison says he was a totally lost person when he first came to Bluffton, Jasper County Volunteers in Medicine. He says the doctors and staff saved his life.
Everything is different about my life. I have a life now. Before, I was just a walking dead person, basically.
A friend who was already a patient at BJVIM had urged Ralph to go.
I come to Volunteers in Medicine after a life of self-destruction, drugs and alcohol, and they kept me alive. They brought me to life, spiritually and physically.
Ralph was in his late 50s when he arrived at Dr. Kathleen Casey's office. He was diabetic, he needed eye and dental care, and he needed open heart surgery. Dr. Casey remembers that day vividly.
He really didn't have any understanding of his diabetes, his hypertension, what it was going to mean to his body. He knew he didn't feel well, and he knew things had gone awry, but he really didn't understand things. Little by little, it was clear that he really wanted to take control of his disease. And we were making some progress when I realized he had a serious cardiac event. And at that point, things had to get fixed in a much more urgent way. And Ralph did everything we told him. And he was incredibly grateful every step of the way.
She and cardiologist Dr. William Epps found Ralph a cardiac surgeon.
We all pushed. I mean, Dr. Epps and I both, stood on our head to get him the right care. And we were so grateful that the physician in Savannah was willing to do what he did as well.
She is my lifesaver. And she brought in Dr. Epps, and between the group, they took me to the Memorial Hospital in Savannah, Georgia, and that's where I had my open heart surgery.
It wasn't an easy road for Ralph or Dr. Casey, but Dr. Casey was patient, very patient, as she and Ralph worked together to make him whole.
She would get mad at me and yell at me because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. Well, I was just so many years of not doing right that I didn't know how to do right.
I never had patients so eager to do what you ask them to do to be better. And they are so grateful for everything we do.
And Ralph's life is completely different now. He says for the first time, he has a doctor family and a church family.
I got life at 64 years old. I don't know how to explain to you how much love and passion there is in my life now.
He's passing on what he's learned. He joined the Kairos prison ministry and works with inmates.
I told them about my life, how when I started doing drugs and how my life has changed since I found God. And he can change your life if you just ask. Simple as that. It's not up to everybody else to fix your problems. You have to get in there and do it yourself.
Dr. Casey says the autonomy she and other doctors have to care for their patients makes Bluffton, Jasper County Volunteers in Medicine a very special place.
But what's lovely is I don't have anybody telling me how many minutes I can spend with my patient, how often I can see them. I don't have to worry about documentation that's meaningless just for billing. I document the things that I need to take good care of the patient.
Patient after patient will tell you that the doctors, nurses, and staff at BJVIM are like angels on earth.
Our care here is absolutely different, and I think it's such a privilege at this stage of my career to be able to provide the kind of care I can provide here. And one of the things is that if it takes me seeing the patient every week to get their blood sugars under control, I have the luxury of doing that. And they're so willing to come and let me look at what they ate that week and let me look at their blood sugars. And if they have problems in between, a number of them have my cell number and they will text me. And no one has ever taken advantage of that.
Dr. Casey became the medical director after practicing medicine for more than 40 years in New Jersey. She decided to move to South Carolina after her realtor told her that Bluffton, Jasper County Volunteers in Medicine was nearby. She immediately wrote to Executive Director Pam Toney.
I went back and wrote a letter and sent it to the clinic, and Pam intercepted it and literally contacted me within hours of opening my letter and said, "We're ready for you." So it was meant to happen.
And the need is great. In 2023, Bluffton, Jasper County Volunteers in Medicine had more than 7,100 patient visits and more than 550 dental visits. It distributed more than $1.3 million in prescription medications and $5.8 million in total services. 90 volunteers put in more than 9,600 volunteer hours.
There are so many people in our daily lives who we see in the grocery store, we see in our dental offices, we see everywhere, and we assume because they have jobs, they have health care, and they don't. So many of our patients are patients we could run into every day in our daily life and have no idea what they need. And I think we underestimate the number of uninsured people who require our services.
And Ralph has this message for people unfamiliar with the work being done at Bluffton, Jasper County Volunteers in Medicine.
They're lifesavers. It's God's work. These people here do God's work.